Hey guys, what's up? It's Lizzy Jane, and we're back this week with Matt Coddington, also known as Codd Dubz. He is a DJ producer, very well known across the dubstep scene, I would say worldwide. He's had incredible releases on Circus Records, Disciple Roundtable, Subsidia, Buygore, Never Say Die Black Label, and more, and support from some of the biggest heavyweights in the scene, such as Nightmare, Slander, Excision, Zomboy, and so on and so forth. We had an awesome conversation. He has a new EP coming out soon. He is known for his incredible chopping routines and mashups. His set at Lost Lands just dropped, which was one of the most anticipated sets to be ran back from the whole entire weekend with Al Ross. I had been wanting to have Matt on the podcast for a while, so I'm super pumped that we finally got to make it happen. I hope you guys enjoy the episode. Make sure to subscribe to me on YouTube, follow me on Spotify, follow me on Google and Apple Podcast. All of that shit matters. You get exclusive content, which I actually had a lot of from this episode, only on my Patreon at www.patreon.com/thisisLizzyJane. I am home from touring pretty much since May for the first time. So I opened up more spots for consultation and lessons and just a bunch of fun stuff. So head over to my Patreon, check it out, shoot me a DM. I'm always available to chat. Without further ado, this is Lizzy Jane, and you're tuning into this week's episode with Codd Dubz. The show today was brought to you by Vitapler E-Boost Gum. With no pill to take or powders to mix, Vitapler E-Boost Gum is a first-of-its-kind energy rave supplement that provides magnesium, electrolytes, and antioxidants while you chew. Vitapler is the perfect complement to my active lifestyle, whether it's at the festival, on the road touring, or hitting the gym. Chew Vitapler and dance with confidence. Use code LizzyJane for 10% off any order. Matt. What's good?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I know we've tried a couple times.
We have.
I'm glad this time it worked.
But now you're in my city. You're fucking playing at Ritz tonight.
I'm very excited.
Yeah.
I fucking love playing at Ritz.
Always a good time.
Anywhere in Florida.
Yeah.
Always really fun.
Florida loves you.
I know.
Dude.
I love coming out here. It's so fun every time. And the shows are so dope, but Ritz especially every time. It's just like so much fun.
Well, and it's like there's such a contrast between playing a room like Ritz versus playing like a small, like grimy club. And both are really good.
Both are really fun in their own ways.
Yes.
Yeah, but like
I feel like Ritz has like this foot traffic that like will put people in there no matter what. Yeah. And then you have your fans on top of it.
They just got their new sound system too.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I haven't heard it yet. I haven't been there yet. Oh, I'm fucking excited.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's gonna be fire.
I heard it's really dope. I heard it's really sick.
And so for all those listening, this is the homie Codd Dubz. Came on the fucking podcast today before his show at Ritz tonight.
That's right.
And do you have some new routines for 2022?
Like,
are we some new doubles, triples, quadruples?
I mean, I just got sent a lot of new music. Yeah, I've definitely a lot of new music. I have a lot of new music that I want to test.
Yes.
The last like 6 months, I've been just like going a different step with my music and my production and just working on different like, not so much like a signature sound, but like more of like a signature in like the production.
Okay.
So,
tell me about that. I want to hear about that.
I think that's just like, I think just having a signature production is like fucking such a cool thing to have. And like, I kind of like having like, I feel like Omnis is a good example because it's like, you could tell like when it like what it's like one of his songs from like the way it's like produced, you know what I mean?
Off the bat.
Yeah. And so I have a lot of new music. I have a track with J-Mo, let him know. You know who J-Mo is?
Yeah. Is he gonna come tonight?
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm gonna bring him out for it because I fucking love the track and I love his music. And
he raps, right?
Yeah,
that's cool.
He's fucking good. I love that guy.
He's doing some stuff with
Shout
Blunts.
out J-Mo, yeah.
Yeah, he's doing some stuff for Blunts with his album.
Actually, how I met him was from Ritz. Last time I played Ritz, and we just connected through there, and like I checked out his music, and I thought it was so fucking sick. And
Hell yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna bring him out tonight to perform one of our new collabs, And yeah, I'm excited.
He's a dope dude for sure.
Yeah, I'm excited.
There are some good people in Tampa. Like everyone,
there's so many people here.
Yeah, everyone who like doesn't live in Florida, every time they come to Florida, if they're not from Florida, they're like, I love Florida.
Yeah, every time I come to Florida, it just brings out the fucking worst in me. And like I love just like coming here and just getting like absolutely ignorant and just like
it's so much to happen that way.
So much fucking fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I can't fucking wait. So.
Yeah, and like this is just. Tampa's just like a base city. They've really tried their hardest. Like when I was at Ritz to like implement like the house heads and like the techno and trance.
Yeah.
All these kids want are bass music.
Yeah.
Like that's all they want.
Yeah. I love it. It's awesome. It's one of my favorite places to play in.
So you're from Brooklyn. Born in Brooklyn?
No, I'm from Long Island.
Okay.
Suffolk County. Kind of like a shitty suburban area. Out in Long Island, where everyone kind of just chills. A lot of people just like do drugs and just like.
I've heard things about Long Island.
Yeah. And I grew up there, and then I eventually moved out to Brooklyn. Right now, I'm living a little outside of Brooklyn. I'm trying to move back to Brooklyn, but I'm originally from Long Island. I like went to high school there and like spent like 20 years there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's where I kind of got my feet into like DJing and like producing and stuff was like in like Long Island.
Were you always in bass music or were you kind of all across the board?
Fuck, I'll like never forget the day. Like I like remember the shit like it was fucking yesterday. I remember one day I was going to my buddy's house, right? And we used to just sit around like smoke and shit. And my buddy looks at me and he goes, dude, like I just found this new genre of music that I think is pretty fucking sick. He's like, it's called dubstep. And I was like, what the fuck is that? And he put on I Can't Stop Flux Pavilion, I think. And I was like, dope. I was like, this is sick. And that was like when I got introduced to it. That had to have been in like 2011 or some shit like that. Like it was a while back.
Oh my God. I was literally just listening to his fucking Sonar mix that he put out in like 2014.
Yeah,
I have a fucking student of mine that's really trying to fuck with like the grime rap over dubstep, and I'm like, listen to this mix. I'm like, you need he's an OG. Talk about an evolution of an artist.
I will never forget those. Like those were the fucking days. And I remember just like from that moment we used to just like keep just going through like the UKF channel and just like find so I actually had like two kind of friends, right? There was like my friend who introduced me to the Flux Pavilion stuff, and then I had another friend who was like, yeah, that's dope. But he's like, but listen to this shit. And he was showing me more of like the UK style shit where it was like scream and banging Cokie and like Hizzle Guy and like all that shit. And that's like kind of like rhythm kind of style before it was like kind of called that. And like he was the one who was showing me like all like the like old wobbly like UK like Europe kind of shit. And I was like, that's even fucking doper. Like I really like both of them, but like that stuff was like what kind of like caught my ear. And like after a while, just like getting involved in DJing and stuff like that, you know, like.
I would say that you're one of the few that actually have like a routine.
Like with mixing?
Like
I don't really plan a whole lot, honestly. Like Lost Lands was basically almost completely like a wing set. How I kind of like to go about my stuff is just like every month. Okay, so for years I used to not even like make playlists in Rekordbox. I used to just scroll through my artists. But then after a while, I realized I was just taking way too much time going from like artist to artist, you know, scrolling through all your artists. Because you have a shit ton of artists, you know what I mean? So like it would just kind of take. So then I eventually started making playlists, and the playlists. Now what I do is like every month I just make a new playlist of just like songs that I've got that month, so I don't like forget to like play something I want to like play. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, that's kind of how I go about it. Just like record boxing my stuff with just every month, just like new music. And then like,
do you do like hot cues?
Yeah,
like
and memory points too.
8 bars before, you know, 4 bars before.
Like literally like every 8. I'm so glad I actually do 8 bars and 4 bar cue points, because I used to not do that. But I knew. Well, I usually only did it like every like 16. But at Lost Lands, they only gave us 2 decks for our set, which is like completely fine. But like I knew one day it would come in handy when I set like 4-bar cue points, and like that was the day it came in handy because like we could mix like so quickly like out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So so that helped me a lot. Shout out Rekordbox. If there wasn't Rekordbox,
literally shout out.
If there wasn't Rekordbox, like I'd like DJing would be a fucking mission.
Like shout out Rekordbox, but don't update it.
Shout out Pioneer. Fuck, I actually gotta update. I'm getting a new computer like next month, so
Mac, Windows.
Yeah, the new M1 Max. I just ordered. I'm waiting for it to come in, but like I was thinking about that. I was like, fuck, do I gotta redo my entire Rekordbox? Because I've literally had the same USB my entire fucking career. Like I've never lost. Like
I do too.
Knock on wood. I've like never lost a USB before. You know what I mean? Like it's the same USB from like the very first DJ gig that I've ever had. So it's like there's so much just like shit on it. I'm like fuck. Like if I have to, I guess I'm gonna have to like remake my Rekordbox when I get this new computer.
There's a way though for you to back your shit up, and I don't know if it's through like
I don't really look at it. Probably, yeah, probably.
Like you totally can do it where you don't lose everything.
Yeah. I'll never forget the first mixer. So this is like a kind of another story. So how I like kind of got into DJing and shit, right? So I remember this was probably like fucking like 2012. My mom, I remember for Christmas got me this like sound system. Yeah. With just like a fucking like a subwoofer and tops and shit like that. Just like play music on, because I'd always listen to music on like my fucking laptop speakers. And I remember one day, like this is like when we were getting into like just starting to like listen to dubstep and shit. And my boy used to always be like, dude, like come over, like bring your fucking speakers. Let's get fucking drunk and listen to some fucking dubstep. And I was like, dude, that sounds dope. I was like, I'm down as shit. You know what I mean? Like we're just like going through like UKF and just like finding new music on this like sound setup that like my mom or my parents got me for Christmas. And so we do that. And then this other kid comes and joins us, the same guy actually who showed me like all the UK kind of stuff. He comes over with a Radio Shack mixer, and I've never seen a mixer in my life. And he plugged it into my speakers, and I was like, dude, what the fuck is that? And dude, this fucking mixer was a 2-channel mixer, and I remember it had the EQ knobs on it, but the EQ was like for the master. So like not each channel had like an EQ. It was like an EQ like for the fucking, I've never seen that anywhere else except that one mixer. Yeah. And like he plugged it into my shit and just started like mixing tracks off his computer. And I was like, dude, like, I'll fucking buy that shit off you, like, right there.
Radio Shack.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Shout out Radio Shack.
Shout out Radio Shack. And I was like, dog, like, I'll buy that shit off you right fucking now.
What year was this? Would you say
2012 or 13.
Okay. So we're, like, coming up on a decade.
So I was like, yeah, fuck.
Sorry, I just made everybody feel really old.
Shit, yeah. Fuck. Yeah, but I was like, bro, I'll buy that shit off you right fucking now. So I bought the mixer off of him, and I just like sit at home and just like mix tracks and kind of just like, you know what I mean? I was using like Virtual DJ. I remember with the mixer and
Serato Tractor.
Yeah,
probably that was
like,
even
that
not even.
Those were still things.
Those are still things.
Yeah,
okay.
I think they were like kind of new though, because I remember I eventually moved over to Tractor, and then is when I started using like CDJs and shit.
Yeah.
CDJ. I remember like the thought process of like first trying to learn how to use CDJ scared the fuck out of me, because I was like, I remember my very first show that I played. I brought my little mixer with me to the show, but they're like, you can't use your mixer. They're like, you got to use a USB of music on these CDJs. And I remember I was in the green room, like watching tutorials on like how to use these CDJs. I had no fucking idea how to use these goddamn things. And like eventually just like practicing, eventually you just learn to see, like, I don't even have any CDJs in my fucking house. So it's like the only time I could ever practice is like on like Rekordbox, you know what I mean? So it's like at the time, just like after you play show after show after show, I was a local in New York, kind of just like figuring out like how to work these fucking things and kind of going from there.
I feel like CDJs scare the fuck out of everybody when
they're definitely a scary sight at first. You're like, holy shit.
You're like, wow. But then it takes a few times.
Yeah, takes a few times.
And then you're good to go. But it's like, if you're doing basic shit, like, and you set your shit up in Rekordbox, you'll be just fine.
Rekordbox is any DJ out there, like, get Rekordbox if you're using CD. I don't understand DJs who don't use Rekordbox.
I used to book a few locals to come in and play the Red Room at Ritz before, like, headliners in that main room would open.
Yeah.
And there were some of them that didn't have their tracks formatted to Rekordbox. And I'm like, how the fuck you doing this right now?
If they do it, all the power to them.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, power to them.
But, like, I feel like once they try Rekordbox, you will, like, never...
Oh, you never go back.
You will never go back to, like, not using it.
I can't imagine not using it now.
Yeah,
like, at least to see your, like, waveforms and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I kind of want to try playing a set now without it and just see how it would even go.
I feel like as long as you had, like, your, like,
you gotta know. Yeah, you gotta, like, know what is what.
You have to know
it's like literally just all by
every song.
Yeah, which is kind of like, because I don't really trust CDJ grids and shit like that. Like,
no,
I
they're
feel
off
like
a lot
sometimes,
of times.
yeah, I don't really trust them anyway. So it's like, it's more just like scrolling through songs would just suck because it would just be file names. It wouldn't be like art. There would be no artist. There would be no like,
key,
it would just be
no
file.
anything.
Yeah, it would be interesting.
One day I want to do it. Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it would be like an interesting endeavor, like a smaller show. Just be like, yeah, I'm gonna go.
The boiler, like an
fucking
after
run
hours.
it. Yeah, like an after hours would be perfect.
Maybe we'll do it tonight after Ritz.
You could totally. I mean, I feel like that's totally a possibility.
Yeah, we'll see.
So how many years have you been touring now?
Like full time.
Like full time.
So actually, before I was touring full time, I used to work in a DJ and like music production store, and I used to be like kind of like not like an official sales rep for like Pioneer and you know all the like Newmark and shit like that. But I used to just work in a DJ store and just sell people DJ equipment and like sound systems and CDs and shit like that. And that was probably like 4 years ago, I think. And working at that was dope because it was like the first job that I was like kind of like, I was like, okay, like I could easily sell. Like people just kind of walk in, they're just like, I'm looking to buy like a fucking Newmark controller, a Pioneer controller. And it was like super easy for me to like point the direction of like, and
you're knowledgeable about it.
And like every once in a while you get some fools who like come in and like try to like buy some stuff for like producing. And I was like the only music producer there besides one other guy. So it's like, they would all just be like, yeah, talk to Matt over there. Like he'll be able to help you with the producing shit. So that was probably like, so I was touring. I was still doing shows when I was working there. Like that's when I was starting to get like out of state gigs. Mm-hmm. I was still doing shows when I was there. And then eventually I just started getting, you know, way busier. Bookings, you know what I mean? Yeah. So that was probably like 4 years ago. And they were like so cool about like they like let me go, but they were like so cool about it. Like they were so supportive.
Well, they were probably proud of you. They're like, this is what you wanted to fucking do.
They were like, that's dope as fuck. You know what I mean? They were like, you know, but like with touring and shit now, yeah. So I've probably been full time just music. Probably it's been probably at least like 3 or 4 years now. I feel like 3 maybe.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's a scary jump for some people to make.
I fucking wake up and the first thing I do is I'm so grateful for it. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
it definitely.
And even like my fans and like people who support my shit, like without them, I would be fucking hungry and have like no food to eat for dinner. You know what I mean? So it's like I am so fucking grateful for like being like able to do shit that I kind of like wanted to do like 5-6 years ago. You know what I mean? Like I fucking dropped out of college like my first like 2 months into college. You know what I mean? Like. I remember, I mean, that's kind of a whole other story, but like, I remember just like leaving and just like telling my parents, I'm like, I'm just going to, you know, roll this music shit and kind of see, cause I've always been kind of like tech savvy.
Yeah.
I'm like kind of like low key, like a computer nerd. And like, I've always just like had an ear for music also. And, I remember I was originally supposed to go to a state university school in New York. For computer science, and I kind of just got into some trouble with some shit, and that didn't end up happening. So I ended up going to a community college instead, and I stayed there for like 4 months, not even like 2 or 3. And I was like, fuck this shit, like, you know, like I kind of want to just keep rolling with the music, and then you know, here I am today. So from there until now, like I wake up every day so fucking grateful for like being able to do of like now what I wanted to do back then. You know what I mean?
Yep. And it does take like a lot of hard work and stuff.
It takes a lot of hard work for sure.
Also like a privilege.
Yeah. I mean, I tell fucking every kid, like any kid who I meet on the street or like at a show who's like, you know, what do I do? I feel like, dude, if I feel like I'm like the perfect example that if I could do music shit, then like literally anybody can, because I'm so goddamn lazy and I hate fucking learning. You know what I mean? But like you gotta put in the effort to get, you know, what you want out of it. So it's like, I remember when I started producing, I started with like me and like 3 friends. And at first, another thing I always tell people is the first year is like by far like the most stressful year, because you have these ideas in your head and you're just like, how the fuck? Yeah. You're like, I don't even know how to, like, this looks like a whole other fucking language. So everyone I started making music with all stopped within the first year because they just get frustrated. So I always tell kids whenever kids ask me for advice or something, I'm like, dude, get through the first year. The first year is going to fucking suck and you're going to hate it and you're going to want to quit. But you get through the first year, you'll start, you know, eventually feeling more confident in it. And like, I tell them, I'm like, dude, like, listen, man, like I fucking hate learning. You know what I mean? Not like I love learning new. I hate the process, the slow you know, because I'm a fucking slow ass learner. You know what I mean? But like, I hate the process of like watching the videos and like, you know what I mean? But it's like, I did all that shit and I'm like, dude, like whenever someone asks me, I'm like, I feel like I'm the perfect example that like, if I could do it, then like you could 100% fucking do it. You know what I mean?
It just takes like diligence and like, it takes just a patience. Second. It's so much patience and like it takes a second to like obtain knowledge. Yeah. And like you gotta fucking be in your dawn. I think that's the biggest
And I do not know a goddamn thing about music theory either. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like I do not know. You don't have to. I feel like definitely over the years, I noticed my ears. Like I could tell, like, you know, like 4 years ago I had no idea what song a key was in. But over the years I could like tell with my ear now, like this song's in this key from like just hearing it, you know what I mean? And like you just train your ears over time. So it's like anything else. Like you kind of just, you know, train, you know, and you get there.
And the longer you do it too, it's like even now, like without the residency, when I like step in front of a pair of CDJs, I'm like, it's kind of like muscle memory. Yeah. And like that's how everything starts to become. Yeah, me too. It just, you get a little nervous and then you're like, oh, I'm fucking straight.
My first show, I was like fucking shaking while I was like putting up like faders and shit. Like I'll like never forget that either. To like, it was a show for like 25 fools, you know what I mean? Like, but I just remember being like so like goddamn nervous and like, you know what I mean? And like now it's like, you know, I've never, you know, I've never really had that feeling, you know, in a long time. I've been nervous for a show, but actually I think I got the last time I got nervous for a show was like during COVID. I think it was like when I had that 12-month break and like the first show back, because I was like I don't even, because I don't have CDJs at my house or anything to practice on, so I was like fuck, like I don't know what to do, you know, because COVID kind of, you know.
And then the fucking 3000s came out.
Yeah,
that was a whole nother.
I like those.
Do you like them? I was gonna ask.
I think they're dope. I just like how they load songs way faster. I think I
hate the middle section.
I think the interface is a little weird, but that's probably just because I'm not used to it right now because I've only played on them a couple of times. Yeah. But I do like how the songs load so fucking quick, because like when I do mix, like sometimes I like, you know, like
so quick,
just like boom, boom, you know what I mean? Just like have a song like fucking ready to fucking go. But
those like, 2000s, dude, they would crank sometimes. And I'd be like, is my USB dead? Is my USB dead? Yeah. Like, fuck.
Yeah, fuck. Yeah, like, so I remember, like, you know, my first, I think it was a drive-in. Yeah, it was a drive-in. It was a drive-in. Yeah, it was a Chicago drive-in. That show, I remember I was, like, fucking nervous. I was like, dude, I remember I had a fucking DJ, man.
And you were
like,
playing in front of cars.
Yeah, and I was playing in front of cars. Like, yeah. It was, like, a crowd of Transformers. Like, I was like, fuck, like, you know, I don't know, something about it just, like, made me nervous as fuck. The show went good, you know, I eventually kind of got to it, but, like, I don't know, COVID fucked that. That was what'd
you do during COVID?
Yo, okay, so every year, right? I normally do like a little kind of like, I don't want to say like world tour, but I definitely do a lap around the globe doing shows. Yeah. For some reason, it's never like planned. Like it's just for whatever reason, the promoters in Europe and Australia. You've been
overseas quite a few times.
Yeah. So it's like the promoters in like for whatever reason in Europe and Australia, for some reason, between like January and March, I just coincidentally always get these bookings that like line up. So in the beginning of 2020, I fucking I was supposed to go to Australia. Oh no, it was Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Europe, and back home. And it was like a eight weeks on the road or whatever. So, I remember my mom's actually like a nurse and like over here. And I remember this like before COVID became big. And my mom was like, you don't go do this. She's like, you should stay home. She's like, don't fucking
She knew,
go.
yeah.
She was like, everything's going to get canceled. And I was like, nah, I'm straight. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, I'm going. So I do the shows in Canada. I do the show. I go to Australia and I get to do, what shows did I do? The first show, Perth. And then I went to Adelaide and then I went to Brisbane was Sunday. And then Monday came around. And so when that Monday came around, I remember just every day just getting more bad news. Like, hey, like this show's getting canceled. I
remember when the emails were coming in.
Yeah, I remember the weekend after I was supposed to go to New Zealand. So they were like, New Zealand just closed their borders. Like my TM was like, New Zealand just closed their borders. You're not gonna be able to go to New Zealand, but we just got you a show somewhere else in Australia. I'm like, all right, that kind of sucks. I want to go to New Zealand. But I was like, all right, fuck it. Let's just do this show in Australia and then like go to sleep, wake up the next day. Never mind. Actually, Australia is now, not limiting.
You need to come home.
And I was like, shit. And then I got emails for my international flights and they're like, we're not flying out of Australia. They weren't doing international flights.
Oh no.
And I was like, oh shit. So I remember I flew back to Perth and, luckily I have a good friend over there. And he let me stay with him in his extra room for like fucking like I probably stayed there for like 8 weeks.
Oh my God. Yeah. You got stuck.
Yeah. So I couldn't get home. Eventually, after like 4 or 5 weeks, I was able to. There was only one airline doing international flights, and after a while, I was just like, because this is when like the Twitch shit was popping. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like everyone was doing streams. And I couldn't do that in Australia because I had no equipment. But if I went back home to New York, at least I could like rent a CDJ setup from someone and start doing Twitch streams. And I was like, dude, I need to go home, man. Like I need to get home and like start working. Like Australia is great. It's like my favorite place in the fucking world. But I was like, I need to get home. Yeah. So this was when New York was like the hot spot for COVID. And I remember getting there was this one airline that was flying to the States. I remember the total travel day was 55 hours. I had to take like 5 different flights, but the final destination was New York. And I remember, I think I went from like Brisbane to Perth, and then Perth to Sydney, and then Sydney to San Francisco, and then San Francisco to Florida, and then Florida to New York. But,
oh my God!
I know it was a lot, yeah. But then I remember in Florida, like I've been to Florida a shit ton of times. The plane that they flew from Florida to New York was like, those planes where it's like, planes are like 3 seats and 3 seats. One fucking this was like 3 seat. No. It was like 3 seats, 3 seats, 3. Like it was like
massive,
9. Yeah, like a big. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like the only times I ever flown those planes are like going across the country or if like out of the country. Never like Florida to Australia, like a 2-hour flight. They had us on that flight, and I remember checking in with the gate agent, and they're like, "You're going to New York?" They're like, "Holy fuck!" Like they're like, "Good luck, man." Like that's crazy. And I was like, yeah, like this is like when everyone's tripping because New York was like popping with COVID and
I remember that.
Yeah. And I remember being that plane has to easily fit like 400 people or something like that. I remember going on that plane and there was only 3 people on that entire flight because no one wanted to go to New York. So
holy shit.
Yeah, so then I go to New York.
You saw it firsthand.
That shit was crazy. I'll never forget that shit. That shit was wild. That was and then after that kind of just I wanted to get into doing the Twitch streaming shit because like everyone else was doing it.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then
streaming's dope.
It was fun. I kind of miss it. It was sweet.
Streaming, some people still do it.
I know.
It's different from a show aspect.
Yeah, it's different, but there was some, I kind of built up my Twitch a little bit, and like
I did too.
It was
you have
fun.
a little family.
Yeah, it was fun.
It's so different than shows because
it was cool.
all of a sudden anyone from any point in any time around the whole entire globe can tune in.
It was fun. Yeah, I liked it. Like, I thought it was cool.
Did you do sets or did you
I did
video
sets.
games?
Yeah, I did sets. No.
Okay.
I would do video games. I still want to do video games to this day, honestly.
That could be a way for you to keep streaming.
Yeah, but I don't think people want to watch me play video games.
Dude, you'd be fucking surprised.
I don't know.
You should see the video game.
Maybe one of the days. Like, I feel like you have to be, like, entertaining for that. Like, Midnight T is really good at streaming video games. He's like a very entertaining person. Like, it would be, if it was me streaming video games, it would be me, like, throwing my controller at the fucking wall, like, screaming at, like, Call of Duty or something. So it's I wouldn't be able to do it, I don't think.
Have you played Halo?
No, I don't play Xbox.
You don't play Xbox? Oh,
I used to. I'm a PlayStation person.
I've heard the new Halo is pretty fucking good.
I play a lot of video games. I fucking love playing video games.
What are some of your favorite? Right? I knew I was going to ask you this, but it's not music, it's video games.
No, so that's easy because it's video games. Right now I play Hella Warzone. Actually, I think the video game industry is in a terrible place right now. Like,
why? Why would you say that?
Because everything that comes out right now is so shitty, and it's like so okay. I remember I used to be able to play video, like when I was in high school. I used to be able to like lay in bed and like calmly play video games and like, you know, have fun.
Yeah.
But now it's like I need to like sit in front of my goddamn TV and like sweat so fucking hard and like try, you know what I mean? So like
my boyfriend will be playing Halo like with their teams downstairs and you'll just hear him shouting at the fucking TV. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Definitely
the grenade's over there.
Definitely stresses me out.
Yeah.
But like, no, it's fun. And like, actually during quarantine, during 2020, it was huge too. Because there was like a lot of artists. Like, there was a point where I feel like so much of the music industry
was
like gaming and playing Warzone and stuff. You know? And like, that's how like I've met a bunch of my friends and shit. Like, CeeLo's in the room right now, in that room. I met him through like playing fucking Warzone. You know what I mean? And then like the last time I played Ritz, he came and I was like, oh, dude, like, you know, and like, that's how we met. So it's like, yeah, shout out to CeeLo,
and Burns and fucking Michael and K-Flum, like all of them.
Yeah. Me and Michael did a Warzone tournament one time, like a while ago, against like Afrojack and like Nicky Romero and like all these guys.
Really? That's hilarious.
We came in last place, I think, because we weren't really trying, but I did fucking beam Afrojack in Warzone. So that was kind of cool.
Get that on a t-shirt.
Yeah, right? Yeah, I fucking had my kilo out and sprayed his ass.
No, that's like one of the reasons I talk to so many people and they're like, yeah, like I met this artist through gaming.
Yeah, no, 2020 gaming, 100%, especially in like music, like everyone was fucking doing it. It was fun. Dude. Those days are kind of over now though, but like those are some good times. Like I fucking, now in my free time, I still do play video games, but like, it's not as much as I did during COVID.
Yeah, and you were working on a new EP.
Yeah,
new EP's done.
Yeah, so the EP is finished.
Coming out soon. Yeah,
coming out soon. I'm fucking hyped. It's definitely like, you know, I'm really happy with the work. I don't know how much I can really like say about it, but it's
how many tracks?
4 tracks.
Any collabs?
1 collab with Point Blank.
Oh, fire!
Yeah, and it's like the
He's so good.
He's
an OG.
Good.
He's slept on.
He's like I can't even like put into words. Like I love his music and his production and shit. And like I love writing music with him too. I've collabed with him more than I've collabed with anybody else. But this collab that we have coming out, I feel like is probably like the most anticipated collab between us. So I'm really happy. I'm not gonna say like what label it's coming out on, but like I'm happy that it has a good home. And
it'll have a good.
And I'm really stoked that like, you know what I mean, like I'm glad it's with him, and me and him have a bunch of other unreleased shit too. Me and him were talking about doing a collab EP. So we'll see.
I was talking to another artist about doing that the other day because our kind of like styles are aligning. Yeah, so. And I was thinking about that. I was like, is that received well?
Yeah.
Like is that you know?
I mean, I think I mean, for me, it's like like if you just like if your style is like work, like I don't know, me and Point Blank, like we banged music out, and like they've always had good reactions, and like he's such a dope dude, and like I got to meet him at Lost Lands for the first time, and it's like
I did too, and I didn't even know it was him. I was like, oh hey.
Yeah. I hope I see him soon. I hope we get booked for something sometime.
He was just here.
Yeah, he's still here, I think, right now. But
shit.
yeah, I he's a killer. Fucking shot at my boy point blank. Like,
yeah, he's
I'm really, all my tunes with him. Like, he's awesome. I love making tunes with him. I made a bunch of rap tunes with Bomber lately. We've been making a couple beats.
Nice.
Bomber's, a homie. So actually, here's kind of a story. Before I was like DJing and making music, I used to be a promoter in New York, and I threw a show, and I booked Bomber for this show.
Okay.
Like when he like just released Yasuo, you know what I mean? And that whole like rim shit was like popping. So I booked Bomber for a show, and like that was the first time we met, and like he's like like one of my best friends today, and it's like we have a bunch of tracks together, and it's like.
My first show ever was with Bomber at Ritz.
Really?
Ever.
No, like Bomber at Ritz?
Yeah.
I would love to see
right
that
after
show.
He released.
Yes,
yeah.
I bet that was a sick show.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, me and him have been writing some. We write dubstep. We've been making a lot of rap shit too.
It's good to not put yourself in a box.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, lately for me, it's like I feel like I like wake up and like I'll jump on Ableton, but like I learned from my boy. He goes by Mark the Beast.
Mark Evans.
Yeah, Mark Evans.
Oh,
yeah.
he's so talented.
He's like there's people who I feel like are literally like put on this earth to like make music, and like he's like one of those guys. So like I remember he like told me his technique one day, like waking up and like making warm-up beats before you like really sit down, and like I always do that and just make rap shit because I have a bunch of rapper homies that will all send beats to, and like I'll like wake up and like make a beat, and then like I'll get eventually doing some dubstep, but I'll always end up just putting like the rap shit as like the intro for the dubstep song,
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I like doing both. I'm a big fan of like like all like the funk shit and like all that like underground like old school type shit.
What about the new Playboi Carti album?
When you heard us talking about that before, it actually. We were joking because it's not like that new.
Yeah. Oh shit. Okay.
Like, it came out. It didn't come out this past Christmas. It came out last Christmas.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So it's actually not that new.
But do you fuck with Playboi Carti?
Yeah. When I listened to that album, I thought the first time I listened to it, it was shit, but it like grew on me, and it's actually pretty fire.
That's always a cool aspect when music actually grows on you.
Yeah. That grew on me.
I've done that so many times with like.
I'm gonna play a bunch of rap shit tonight at the Ritz because like I want to hear their new sound system.
Dude,
I hear like just playing some like fucking rap shit would go hard. I can't wait to hear it. I think it's gonna be dope.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun.
It definitely will. I love on the little thing that they put out. They're like earplugs will be provided if requested. I was like, oh, this is about to be real. This is about to be real.
I think it's gonna be dope.
It's gonna be super sick. Like you always draw in a good fucking crowd at Ritz.
I'm excited. Florida goes off every time.
It goes off every fucking time. It's so goddamn
fun. Like Florida is just the scene is so strong down here, and like every time I come here, it's just so fucking fun every time.
Yeah. And I know there were tons of Florida homies at your Los Angeles set.
Yeah, Los Angeles is fun. Yeah, Los Angeles.
That whole stage, dude. I remember walking up with
that was like
fucking the crew and Kevin O'Connor and Sippy, and the fucking stage was shaking.
Yeah, it was dope. Los Angeles was a lot of fun.
Los Angeles is fucking crazy, and you're putting your set out.
On Monday it's gonna be the whole set of me back, or most of the set, because we didn't think we were gonna end up putting it online. So there's like a couple like only like live tracks that we could have, so we can't have like every song in there.
Yeah.
But all the songs that we can have in there are going in there. And I thought it's really cool too, because like what I did for it is there's a YouTuber who's here. His name's Who Is Brian. You know who that is? Yeah. Shout out Brian. Like that guy's an absolute fucking legend. He like recorded basically our like entire set, and like Al's like a really good MC. So it's like I replayed the set, and then I went to like the Who Is Brian video of like our set, and I like recorded like all of Al's like MCing. I'm gonna like put it over like our.
That's fucking dope. Just do like an MP3 converter kind of thing. Yeah.
Shout out Al. Al's like one of my favorite people and like one of my best friends.
Wonderful.
And like he's like one of my favorite people to play back to back with, and Yeah, so
he brings the energy.
I'm excited. You had a crazy set of Lost Names too.
It was dope. It was dope. The fucking booth monitor blew, but besides that,
really?
We
played on the same stage. I think,
we played on the same stage.
What day did you play on? The first
Sunday.
day, right?
Sunday.
Last
day.
Really?
Yeah, right before my set.
Shit.
That shit just blew.
Damn.
I felt so bad because like a lot of homies showed up. Like Funtcase was there. His whole team was there. I was just like, oh, I feel so bad. They were fucking flicking Pokemon cards behind me. That shit was fun as fuck. It was. This stage is like, I just like personally rather play. I mean, every stage there is fucking dope, but I'd rather play a stage that's like maxed out to capacity. Same thing with venues. Than like a really big stage and not a lot of people there. You know?
It was dope. Yeah. Well, like, hopefully we'll be there next year.
Yeah. We're fucking gonna fight for it. No, for sure. So before we go, 3 things for up and coming artists.
3 things for up and coming artists. 3
things that you would advise from your personal experience. Some mistakes you made, whatever. Just tell them.
Shit. Okay. I feel like what I kind of said before, that I feel like I'm the perfect example. If I can make music and DJ, literally anybody could.
Yeah. So
if they feel unmotivated and uninspired and they're so frustrated, like, that completely happens to me every single day of my fucking life. That's just part of being an artist. Whether you're like a music producer, like you paint or you draw, like you're always gonna be the hardest critic on yourself. Another thing is that like I think this just goes for like life in general. You need to play your cards right, and that you need to realize that I think that life is based all about decisions, and your decisions are like what pave your destiny, like no matter which way you go. So play your cards right, make the right fucking decisions, and just keep fucking going. Like, you know what I mean? Like, watch those boring-ass YouTube videos. Like, I do it. It fucking sucks.
It's a journey.
I fucking hate it. You know what I mean? Like, get critique from your friends. And, you know, just, like, once you get past that first year and you eventually develop your styles and shit, like...
sailing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, you'll go from there. And everyone goes down a completely different path, I feel like. Like, it's, you know what I mean? Like... And another thing, too, I feel like is don't try to copy an artist because you're never going to get what they're doing, and you're just gonna get frustrated if you're, you know what I mean? Like just do your own thing. Yeah, do your own thing. If you try to follow what other people are doing, you're probably not gonna get it, and like it's just gonna like frustrate you. Like just do your own fucking thing.
And be open.
And I do that all the time. Like I'll be like, I'm trying to make a song who sounds like this, and like it doesn't get to it. I'm like, you know, like it's just part of being an artist. Like you just gotta realize that it's like do your own thing, stay in your own lane. Like, you know what I mean?
It's the only way to do it.
You is like what makes you you.
And if you do your own thing, you know, you don't want everybody to like you. Yeah. It's never going to happen. Yeah. Not everybody's always going to love you. Yeah. So it's like, do what makes you happy. Yeah. Do the shit that you want to do. And the people who want to come on board will come on board.
Do it. Yeah, that's it. Fucking do it. And that's it. Yeah.
Well, Matt, thank you so much for coming on. Appreciate you, homie. Codd Dubz gonna fucking kill this shit tonight. It's gonna be so dope. Thanks for coming on the podcast, dude. Of course. Yeah. I see you. Peace out.
That was super sick. Always happy to get the chance to have a good convo with Matt. I'm sure he slayed his show at the Ritz Ybor that night in Tampa. And I know he did because I was there. But until next time, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button, guys. Make sure you're following us and keeping up to date with the podcast. We will have weekly episodes for the rest of ever. So have a great fucking week, guys. I'll see you next time.